Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to Pineville, North Carolina at Jack D. Hughes Memorial Park on a hot evening and a game between your Queen City Corndogs and the Pineville Porcupines of the Old North State League, an out-of-conference matchup between these two squads. To kick things off after the 4th of July break, Corndogs, before the break, rode some momentum into the holiday with back-to-back wins, 3 in a row if you count June 29th. So those 3 games against the Locos, Lake Norman, and Concord, all resulting in victories, and the Corndogs now intending to increase that streak and hit the home stretch of this season full speed ahead. It'll come against the Pineville Porcupines tonight. Won't affect the conference record, which is oh so close right now. 5 teams separated within 2 games of first place in the SCBL. This contest won't affect that specifically, but a win is a win and a big opportunity for Queen City tonight against the 10-10 Pineville Porcupines. As mentioned, they play in the ONSL, another one of the many collegiate leagues, not only across the state but across the country, for these college players to show off what they've got. And the Corndogs will show off what they got on offense first. Away team bats, and a little change to the order tonight, as is typical with skipper Jeff Pluta. We'll see Adam Quintero batting first for Queen City. Following him will come Dave Mosry, Will Budnick, and Dylan Lewis in the 4-hole. And as we say it starts, so Adam Quintero makes his way up, and let's play some ball. On the bump tonight for the Pineville Porcupines is number 32, Jonathan Hyman. Quintero getting his first at-bat, and that's going to be, did that hit Quintero? It looks like the ball at least ricocheted off into his facial area. Quintero has to walk that one off. You might feel it in the morning, but for now looks to be in decent condition, as that looks like it was a hit by pitch. So the first pitch of the game nails Adam Quintero in the face, and he gets on first. Start things off here on this wickedly warm night here on July 6th. High 80s at Pineville, and feels like 93 according to the ever-trusty weather app. So now up is Dave Mosry, who takes the ball on the first pitch he sees of the night. Quintero at first, no outs. And Mosry went 0 of 3 in his last game, as Quintero is going to go for second, and we'll get on over there. So runner in scoring position now for Queen City. Dave Mosry, as we were saying, went 0 of 3 with 2 strikeouts against Concord, but also got on base twice as he was hit by multiple pitches. And speak of that, he gets hit by another one right here, so the 3rd time that Mosry's been hit by a pitch in as many games. And also the 2nd consecutive pitch to be thrown right at a batter from the pitcher, Jonathan Hyman. The Porcupines 10-10 in the ONSL. This game obviously won't affect their record in conference, though it is a chance to pick up a nice win here on their home field, as that pitch into Will Budnick is going to be ruled a ball. So 1-0 count now on Budnick, who has really turned things on as of late. The rising junior at Queen's University went 2 of 5 versus Concord with a double, and watches that one go for a ball. Budnick, the lefty from Charlotte, North Carolina, at one point had the 2nd most strikeouts on the Corndogs, is now not struck out in a hot minute, but that one is popped up, and it is going to be tracked. No, it won't. It'll go just over the right fence. First baseman unable to get to it. That's Ethan McLean over there at first. So 2 runners on, no outs, a 2-1 count for Budnick, who has elevated his average all the way to 345 on the season, was batting mid-200s last time we were on the call a few games ago, but has really taken a level up in his game as that one is chopped over towards McLean at first. The throw is not going to go. Trying to turn the double play instead of making something routine was McLean, and now the bases are loaded with no outs.
Now batting number 42, Dylan Lewis.
So Budnick gets the first hit of the night for the Corndogs. But still, the bases have 3 residents on them right now as Dylan Lewis steps up to the plate. Lewis went 0 of 2 in his last contest, but does have 14 RBIs on the season, one of them being a solo home run, and that will be a strike on the first pitch of this at-bat. Jonathan Hyman trying to get out of the jam. Hyman, a redshirt junior from Bellbrook, Ohio, throws that one low to even up the count at 1. Dylan Lewis, batting .277 on the year, and he'll chip that one back for a 1-2 count. An opportunity now for Hyman to punch out the first batter of the evening. It will come at a much-needed time as he is in a sticky situation, to say the least, the Porcupines. Have that pitch go just inside, so the count will level at 2 for Hyman, who attends Valparaiso. Has made 4 appearances so far this season for the Porcupines. Meanwhile, he catches Dylan Lewis chasing on that outside pitch to get the first strikeout and first out overall of the contest for the Porcupines. And that'll bring up number 33, Peter Gullo. Gullo coming off a 1 of 3 performance against Lake Norman. That game against Lake Norman in which the Corndogs won 6-5. That pitch is off the chest plate of the catcher Garris, but with the bases loaded, not much the Corndogs can do. Little risk there for the Porcupines. And a 1-0 count pitch coming up. The Corndogs won that game 6-5 against Concord and beat Lake Norman 7-4 the day before. As that pitch goes by the catcher, Quintero's going to gun it home, and no play will be there. So the first run of the night goes to Queen City as their leadoff batter, Adam Quintero, scampers across home and puts 1 run on the board with 2 in scoring position, only 1 out still, and a 2-0 count. Had to dust off the home plate right there. But back to regularly scheduled programming now. Masri is at second. Budnick is at second. Masri is at third, excuse me. And that pitch is going to be outside for ball number 3, a 3-0 count, and 1 more of those. And Hyman will have the bases loaded once again. And that's exactly what will happen. So Peter Gullo gets walked on 4 pitches and sends up number 25, Harrison Wilson. Wilson didn't play against Lake Norman on Saturday, but did play on Friday against Concord. Went 1 of 4 and got an RBI in that contest. Has 7 RBIs on the season and a big chance here to make it more. The pitch from Hyman is in, and it looks like it's a strike. Harrison Wilson, even if he didn't go, it looked like they were going to call that one in the zone. So an 0-1 count for Hyman. Bases loaded still, only 1 out, and that one is going to be chopped foul. The Corndogs will have to retreat back to their respective bases. Meanwhile, Hyman has a chance to pick up the second out of the inning. Jonathan Hyman has thrown 6.2 innings so far this season, boasting a 6.75 ERA. As that pitch is right down Main Street for a strikeout, the second strikeout of the inning for Hyman. And that will bring up number 37, Harrison Bouthillette. Hyman, if he can only escape this inning with only one run seeded, that would be a big win for Pineville. But you can't get out of it that easily. Still one more out to get, and it's coming against Harrison Bouthillette, who has a home run in his last game against Lake Norman, and that one is made contact with, but will go foul. Harrison Bouthillette in that game against Lake Norman went for 3 RBIs, including that home run, but then followed it up with an 0-3 performance at Concord with 3 strikeouts. So which Bouthillette are we going to see tonight? This count may be an early indication, but takes the outside ball right there to even up the count at 1. Bouthillette batting a respectable .250 on the season, has 14 RBIs, up there among the team leaders, as he watches that one go outside once again, the San Jacinto product. Or should I say incoming product, as he's entering his freshman year with the Gators. But the lefty from Indian Land, South Carolina, going to take a quick time, step back in, and we'll pick this up right now. That pitch from Hyman is swung on and whiffed by Bouthillette. Looks like it actually may have just been grazed, but regardless, the result is still the same. So with bases loaded, the Corndogs, who have had some problems with leaving runners on the base path throughout the season, could be at risk of stranding 3 more. 2-2 pitch from Hyman is in, and it is made contact with. It's going to be a ground single by Bouthillette, rips it into the right field, and the second run of the night will come home. That's going to be Dave Mosry, who tags home plate, and with 2 strikes, Harrison Bouthillette gets on base and keeps the inning alive for the Corndogs. Great at bat there from Bouthillette, who is second on the Corndogs in strikeouts, but found that pitch, made good contact with it, helping to extend the lead for Queen City. And bring up number 5, Nathan Sammy. Nathan Sammy didn't play against Concord as he takes strike 1 right there. But like Bouthillette, he went yard against Lake Norman, went 2 of 4 with the solo shot. And his 3 home runs on the season are tied for the most in the SCBL with teammate Tyler Cotto. As it looks like that's going to be ruled strike 2. Nathan Sammy not pleased with that call. And now for Hyman, another chance to punch out the side. Already has 2 strikeouts this inning, but that one is going to be fouled away. Sammy stays alive. Base is still loaded. Meanwhile, the Corndogs already at the 8-man in their lineup. The pitch from Hyman is going to be his 3rd strikeout of the inning. Corndogs leave the bases loaded, but they do pick up 2 runs to start off things in the top of the first. So we'll head to the bottom of the first and get the first look at the Pineville offense after this quick break. Welcome back, everyone, for the bottom of the first inning. Corndogs out to a 2-0 lead. Only got one hit in the top of the first, but managed to put up multiple runs. Now, Porcupines tasked with making a mini comeback here with the first pitch of the game on both sides being a hit by pitch. Both starting aces tonight for both the Porcupines and the Corndogs. With some early jitters and hitting the first batter that they see. So Cam Farrell will advance to first. And that will bring up the lefty, number 23, Nick Curtis. On the bump tonight for the Corndogs is Sam Johnson, making his fourth start of the season. Making his third start, is Johnson, the Marietta College product. With a 1-0 count, throws over to first, unable to catch Farrell, who retreats back to the bag. Now 1-0 count for Nick Curtis, a native of Tega, South Carolina, entering his senior year at Coker University, and gets under that one, but it will be tracked down in the outfield. Play made by Adam Quintero, who's playing left field today, even though he really is an infielder by nature, can really do it all. So one down now for the Corndogs, and that will send up Chris Manriquez, number 34, a Charlottean himself, where he's a senior at Lander University. Same school as Corndogs outfielder Caleb Singleton. So one down, runner on first, and Sam Johnson throws that one high for ball number 1. Sam Johnson enters tonight with 9.2 innings pitched on the season. 13 strikeouts in those 9 innings and change, as that pitch is inside to move the count to 2-0. Sam Johnson, also a native of Charlotte. Last got on the bump in a start against the Kingsmen, where he allowed 2 earned runs on 3 hits, as that pitch is near the shoulder of Manriquez. And Farrell will scurry on over to second base and record the steal. Difficult play to be made, and wasn't able to. So now runner in scoring position for the Porcupines. And an advantageous 3-0 count for Manriquez, who has a team-leading 15 RBIs and is tied for the team lead with 2 home runs. Sam Johnson gets back in the count with that strike right there. Sam Johnson only had 1 strikeout in his last start against the Kingsmen. Walked 2 batters as well in what was far from his best performance of the year. Trying to bounce back tonight, but will record a walk right there as he puts Manriquez on first, and now 2 runners on with 1 out. That'll send up number 31, Ethan McLean. So with Farrell on second, Manriquez on first, and only 1 out so far, the Porcupines have something cooking here. Ethan McLean, the 4 batter, hitting .351 on the season, which is good for second on the team. Has also the second most hits on the Porcupines with 20 knocks on the season. And is tied for the team lead in RBIs as well. The powerful lefty out of Belmont Abbey looks at that first pitch from Sam Johnson go low. Strike zone, eluding Johnson here early. And with Farrell at second, something to look out for. Does have a team high for the Porcupines with 14 stolen bases on the season. Already recorded 1 and going to try to get another, but will he get it? No, he won't. The tag applied by Harrison Wilson, and Cam Farrell will have to go back to the Corndogs dugout. Excuse me, the Porcupines dugout. Porcupines faithful imploring that was a safe play. So after some deliberation, it looks like the umpires are going to come together and discuss this call. A pivotal moment here in the bottom of the first could potentially save a run for the Corndogs. Regardless, Manriquez was able to get to second. And we'll see. Looks like the ruling on the field is going to stand. So Cam Farrell, after recording his 15th stolen base, tried to add one more to his collection, but unable to do so. The throw from Harrison Bouthillette to Harrison Wilson on that Harrison to Harrison connection. So now 2 down for Sam Johnson, a 2-0 count, and a runner on second. Johnson looks back, and the 2-0 pitch is in and launched into the outfield. Is that going to be not far enough? Right fielder Dylan Lewis tracks it down, and the Corndogs allow a few base runners here in the bottom of the first, but escape with no runs seeded as we head to the second, with the Corndogs on top 2-0. Welcome back, everyone. For the start of the second inning, Corndogs out to a 2-0 lead. And Jonathan Hyman retaking the bump for the Porcupines. Had 3 strikeouts in the top of the first, but also loaded the bases multiple times, and as a result, the Corndogs have got out to this early lead. Meanwhile, the batter, Garrett Sander for Queen City, has got out to an early lead in this count. Back-to-back balls to start things off here for the Lenore Rhine Bear as he chips that one over back to Hyman, who will have a easy play at first. So 1 down now as Miller St. John, the bottom of the order for the Corndogs, heads up to bat. Miller St. John now is batting .200 on the year, has 4 hits, 3 RBIs, and with 1 out here, takes a strike on the first pitch that he sees. No one on for the future teammate of the last batter, Garrett Sander. As St. John will attend Lenore Ryan after 2 years at Gaston College. Meanwhile, in the now, an 0-2 count for St. John and make it a 0-3 count. Down on strikes and the minimum amount of pitches. All looking, so St. John goes down looking, and that's the 4th strikeout of the night for Hyman. Which brings us back to the top of the order with number 15, Adam Quintero. Got hit in the head area with the first pitch of the game. But with the second pitch that he sees, it eludes him as he goes whiffing on that one. So early 0-1 count as Hyman has looked to found a rhythm here. Quintero grounds that one right over to the second baseman, Rokes. And that will put the Corndogs away. A 1-2-3 inning for Jonathan Hyman and the Porcupines. And we'll go to the bottom of the second after this quick break. A quick top of the second inning brings us right back here for the bottom of the frame. Sam Johnson didn't get much rest in that Corndogs dugout, and on a blistering night like this, you might need as much as you can get. But nevertheless, Johnson and the Corndogs back out on defense, and the first pitch of the inning goes for a ball. In the boxes, number 27, Lucas Martino, who gets ahead 2-0 in the count. Martino, a native of Charlotte, North Carolina, another player that attends Lander University with his teammate, Chris Manriquez, who we saw in the first inning. And now a 3-0 count. Sam Johnson having some difficulty finding the strike zone here early. And 4 pitches, 4 balls as Martino takes first.
Now batting number 35, Calder Garris.
And number 35, Calder Garris, will look to capitalize. No outs, obviously, as Martino resides at first. Calder Garris, who's played 17 games this season for the Porcupines out of their 20 contests, batting .208 with 11 hits. Has Martino on first, and that pitch from Johnson is going to be ruled a ball, so strike zone for both sides has looked pretty small tonight. Not a lot of margin for error for either of these pitchers or anyone else who comes on the bump later in this game. But that one is going to be a strike, the way that the ump doesn't have to interfere, as a big hack results in a whiff, and the count now moves to 1-1 for Garris. Johnson winds this one up and in, and that's going to be no doubter. So after going down in the count 1-0, Johnson has come back and assumed control of this at-bat. Martino taking a moderate lead at first. And that pitch is going to be ruled a ball. Even 2-2 count now for Sam Johnson. Sam Johnson, who's making his third start of the season for the Corndogs, has appeared in now 5 games. Has had a very Jekyll and Hyde start 1 and start 2, but looked great right there on that strikeout. His first of the evening, and 1 down now for the Porcupines, which sends up number 11, Emerson Monbaron, making his 11th start of the season, or should I say 11th appearance for the Pineville Porcupines. Martino still on first, looking like a threat to run as first pitch ball there from Sam Johnson. We mentioned that he had a poor second start, but his first start against the Owls, he tossed 4 innings and only allowed 3 runs while picking up 7 strikeouts along the way, which Sam Johnson, when we get tonight, well, a opportunity for the second out of the inning will go as Dave Mosry makes the play on the Sunday bounce and whips it over to Will Budnick at first. So now 2 down. Martino on second.
Number 17,
and number 17, Tyler Rokes, heading up to the plate, looking to keep the inning alive for the Porcupines. Home plate, dusted off once again. And this at-bat can get underway. Tyler Rokes, who's currently uncommitted, but is a freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. And the first pitch he sees will go right down Central Ave for a strike. Sam Johnson looks to be settling in, and Rokes, who bats 115 on the year, has 3 hits on the season, hoping to make it 4 and keep this frame going. Has a runner in scoring position with Martino. Though the Porcupines still yet to record a hit in an inning and 2 outs. Rokes fouls that one back. So now a 1-2 count. Sam Johnson on the verge of bringing us to the third. Rokes has 7 strikeouts on the season, 6 walks, and a 1-2 pitch coming in here. The runner is going to go, but it looks like it won't matter as Rokes appeared to go on that one. And the other umpire is going to say that it was safe, that he didn't check, or that he did check, I should say. So Martino will actually take third base. The steal looked like it would not have mattered, but instead we now have a runner on third for the Porcupines and a 2-2 count coming up after the Corndogs had what they thought was the third out of the inning. Sam Johnson has to make a quick turnaround and bounce back. Still ahead in the count, 2-2. The Marietta product winds this one up, and it's going to be low and away. So now a full count for Tyler Rokes. And if he's able to take base, this would be a big change in momentum for both sides. Corndogs were headed back to their own dugout thinking that we had 2 innings down, and Rokes will pop that one towards the foul area, but it's going to be out of the reach of any players, keeping this at-bat alive. Sam Johnson, who entered this game with a 4.66 ERA, which closely resembles that of the Corndogs, who only allow roughly 4.78 runs per game. And the full count pitch is going to go. So Sam Johnson finishes off the job after the umpires robbed him of a strikeout earlier in the at-bat. His second punch out of the game brings us to the top of the third, where the Corndogs will take back on offense with a 2-0 lead. Welcome back, everyone. Top of the third inning here. I'm Jonah Weintraub. Happy to be bringing you tonight's game in which the Corndogs up early 2-0. That's going to be an early 0-1 count, though, for the batter, Dave Masri, who got hit by a pitch his first time up to bat. Corndogs put up 2 in the top of the first, have only 1 hit on the contest, though. And a 1-1 count now for the pitcher, Jonathan Hyman. Contact is going to be made by Masri right there, and it is going to go fair and flare into the right outfield. Will be held up at first, but a base hit for Masri to lead off the top of the third. Masri has reached base both times tonight. And with that comes up number 55, Will Budnick.
Batting number 55, Will Button.
So, Hyman working with Budnick at the plate. Masri on first. And that pitch is going to go into the dirt, stopped behind the plate by Garris. To make this a 1-0 count here on Budnick, who, as we alluded to earlier in the broadcast, has really upped his play in recent weeks, or in recent games even. So gets out ahead 2-0 in the count now. Budnick has 19 hits on the year, which is third most on the Corndogs, after going 5 of 10 over the last 2 games. The lefty has a 2-0 pitch coming in, and it will go high and outside for ball number 3. Both pitchers have had some difficulty painting the corners, though. A combined 6 strikeouts between the starting aces tonight. And that's a no-doubter as the count moves to 3-1 now for Will Budnick. Meanwhile, Dave Masri is over at second base. Has 5 stolen bases on the season. And gets back to first in time. The Corndogs average roughly 3 steals a game on the base path as Budnick grounds that one over to third. The play won't be there at second, but the throw to first will be there. So a stretch made over to get that catch by Ethan McLean.
Batting number 42,
Sends Budnick back to the dugout, though the fielder's choice allows Masri to advance to second. And with only 1 down, a runner in scoring position, Budnick sets up his collegiate teammate at Queens, Dylan Lewis, to possibly advance Masri even more. The first pitch that he sees, though, is fouled straight back. And Lewis struck out the first time he was at bat, one of 4 punch-outs on the evening by Jonathan Hyman. This time around, though, Hyman throws a ball, so a 1-1 count. Lewis has 14 RBIs on the season, 13 hits. Meanwhile, Hyman surveys Masri at second, and Lewis will make contact with that one, flip it over to third, and the play made. So Lewis will ground out. Masri will stay at second wisely. And the Porcupines have 2 down and a chance to strand another Corndog here. So up comes number 33, Peter Gullo, who got walked his first time up in the batter's box. The Corndogs striking out just 6.5 times per game, but only getting walked 6 times per game. So those numbers are pretty neck and neck throughout the season. At one point, they were the exact same, I believe, through 17 or 18 games. And right now, Gello looks like he's in a position to take a second walk and up that average in terms of base on balls. 2-0 in favor of the Anderson University product. And now 3-0 as that pitch from Hyman just able to be gloved by the catcher, Garris. And with 2 outs, Masri at second. A 3-0 pitch comes in and goes in to be the second walk of the evening for Peter Gello, upping his on-base percentage and sending up Harrison Wilson, number 25. Wilson, the Winthrop Eagle, struck out his last time to the plate, but has a great opportunity to right his wrongs in the batter's box and extend this frame for Queen City. Wilson, batting .265 on the season. Nine hits, 7 RBIs. Could make it more here, but that pitch is going to be in for a strike. Wilson went down looking the first time up and is down 0-1 in the count. Harrison Bouthelette on deck. Meanwhile, that throw is low and away from Hyman. And Hyman off to a good start. The Corndogs have got base runners, but he's only allowed 2 hits, and as he came into this game with 8 strikeouts, already has 4 of them tonight. But that one is going to be outside of the reach of Ethan McLean. That was going to be a possible ground out, but instead the Corndogs bring a runner home. Dave Masri will touch the plate for the second time tonight and give the Corndogs a 3-0 lead. And the Queen City will send up Harrison Bouthelette for the second time tonight. Bouthelette got a hit his first time up. Got the first hit of the evening for Queen City with a single. As a quick meeting of sorts, it seems. Sun starting to set over here on Jack D. Hughes Park in Pineville, North Carolina, right in the heart of downtown. Beautiful park here. Gracious of the Porcupines to host us for this out-of-conference game. And it looks like we're back into action now, so Bouthelette with 2 outs, runners on the corners. Looks at that pitch go low and away. Bouthelette entered the game with 14 RBIs on the season and has Gello at third. Harrison Wilson at second. And that pitch is going to be ruled a strike. Just painting the corner is Hyman, who evens his count at 1. Porcupines have allowed more runs than hits so far in this contest. Not a recipe for success, though, hinting that they could turn things around here. And the Corndogs have left multiple runners on in the first and second inning. Could be much worse for this Pineville squad here, as that pitch is going to be high and away. The count now 3-1. Corndogs have had bases loaded tonight. 1 ball here, and they'll be able to do it once again. But that one's going to be anything but a ball as it goes right down Main Street for strike number 2. Which brings up a full count on Harrison Bouthelette, who is second on the team in strikeouts, but third in walks. Which one will we get? Well, it looks like it's going to be neither, as Bouthelette grounds that one over, and the throw once again over the head of Ethan McLean. Peter Gullo will get home. And that's the third time tonight the Corndog has reached first base on an errant play.
Number 5, Nathan Sammy.
So the unconventional RBI on what could have been a great play by Cam Farrell over at shortstop gets negated. And a meeting on the mound for the Porcupines. So we'll be back after this quick conversation. Pineville had to recalibrate a bit and now should be ready to get back going. Some wild throws here in this third inning have resulted in the Corndogs putting up 2 more runs. And Nathan Sammy in the batter's box now for Queen City. Takes a ball on the first pitch that he sees. Still 2 outs after the Boothelet single. And that will make it a 2-0 count after that pitch is just outside. So, with the 2-0 count, Nathan Sammy has runners on the corners. Harrison Wilson at third. Harrison Boothelet at first. And 3 straight balls, courtesy of Jonathan Hyman. At risk of loading the bases yet again. But that one is going to be ruled a strike on Nathan Sammy, who struck out his first time at bat. The Charlotte native will get walked on that inside ball 4. So Sammy loads the bases, which brings up number 2, Garrett Sanner. Sanner grounded out his first at-bat. And for his second at-bat, we'll have to wait because it looks like there could be a pitching change perhaps. We'll keep you posted after this quick break. Well, a new pitcher is in the game for the Porcupines. It's going to be number 30, Trent Boone, who, as far as we know, according to the Porcupine Statistical Archives, has not made an appearance so far this season. Though we were able to realize that Boone is a right-handed pitcher that is class of 2023, so just graduated and will be attending Limestone, a familiar college for fans of the SCBL. Just about every team you can think of probably has a player or two from Limestone. The Saints, the Corndogs have their very own Luke Harris, not in the game tonight, who attends Limestone. Meanwhile, Boone throws that one over the head of the batter, Garrett Sanner, for ball number 1. Count even with the bases loaded. 2 outs. Boone put in a difficult situation and throws that one high and inside for ball number 2. Strike zone not giving tonight. Really going to have to earn those ones. Meanwhile, Sanner, who grounded out the first time that he stepped up to the plate, looking to rewrite that first set of pitches that he saw. And he'll take a quick time here. Sanner has 16 hits on the season, 4 of them being for RBIs, though he batted in the leadoff for quite a bit of time. Meanwhile, it looks like that one may have clipped Sanner on the elbow. Or did it? Sanner came up grimacing just a bit. And it looks like they're going to finally say that it hit him. So the hit by pitch right there advances all the runners and gives the Corndogs the easiest run possible in baseball. Harrison Wilson takes a leisurely jog across home plate and extends this lead to 5 for Queen City. That's the third Corndog batter to be hit by a pitch this evening. In fact, the first 2 batters were clipped in back-to-back at-bats. Been a long pause since. But now we are here again with yet another hit by pitch. So it looks like manager Chris Manriquez, not to be confused with Chris Manriquez, number 34. That family relationship here for the Porcupines, and the elder Manriquez, the skipper for the Porcupines, not pleased with that one. Both sides have been pretty upset with the umpire's calls on multiple occasions tonight. But here we are, so the Corndogs have a 5-0 lead, and that pitch is going to be high for ball number 1. Boone facing his second batter of the night. It's going to be Miller St. John, number 23. The Corndogs only have 3 hits, but have put up 5 runs after getting hit by a pitch 3 times and multiple walks. Miller St. John, though, is going to pop that one up into the infield, and the play is going to be made by the catcher. That's Calder Garris, recording the 3rd out of the inning. So Queen City puts up 3 more in the top of the 3rd. And that sends us to the bottom half of the frame with the Porcupines trying to find their first hit still. Welcome back, everyone, after a long top of the third inning. A pitching change for the Porcupines in that frame as well. We're finally here to the bottom half of the third, and the first pitch from Sam Johnson is going to result in a strike going up against number 25, Nate Firstman. Firstman, who's playing in left field tonight for Pineville, goes to Muskingum University. Though he is still a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. And now 1-1 count. Johnson has 2 strikeouts thus far and gets a big swing out of Firstman right there. And to put it lightly, Firstman has really struggled at the plate. In 13 games, he is 0 of 25 and has a whopping 16 strikeouts. Make it 17 right there. Right down the middle, caught him looking, did Sam Johnson, to record his third punch out of the night and the first out of the inning. So while the struggles for Firstman at the plate continue, that'll bring up Cam Murray, number 13, a junior from Western Carolina. And he takes a strike looking on the first pitch that he sees from Sam Johnson. Johnson really settling in now. And that last strikeout, in which he caught him looking, brings up an interesting note about Sam Johnson. He's only 6th on the Corndogs in strikeouts on the season, which isn't anywhere near the top of the pecking order. And gets a second strike right there, does Johnson. But what Johnson does have in his favor is a team-leading 9 strikeouts looking, which is by far the most on the team. So Sam Johnson has really put the ball in great positions as that last pitch goes. Looks like it's going to be a ball the batter didn't go. So a 2-2 count now for Cam Murray. Johnson has 3 strikeouts on the night, as the latest one we just saw in the previous at-bat. One of his very common strikeouts looking. Weird stat. Perhaps it could be causation, correlation, whatever you want to say, but painting the corners, a little pastime of Sam Johnson. And then this pitch is going to be made contact with, and a difficult bounce. That looked like it had very little to do with Will Budnick and more to do with the layout of the field. That ball just took a random leap way up into the chest of Budnick, and that'll be the first hit of the night for the Pineville Porcupines. Getting a little home field advantage with that one. As the top of the order heads back up for Pineville, Cam Farrell stepping up to bat. Don't know if that'll actually go down as a hit. Could just be an error on the infield by Budnick, in which case it would be unfair. There's really no way it's fair to anyone involved, but here we are with Murray on first. Farrell in the box. Both Cams. One heading the order tonight for the Porcupines. One is the caboose. The former, though, Farrell from Coker University, grounds that one, and it is going to go right into the infield gap. The throw over to third from Dylan Lewis will hold Cam Murray at third, and now both Cams on base. Runners on the corners.
Now batting number 23, Nick Curtis.
And that will send up Nick Curtis. An unfortunate hop. And then that one was all skill, no luck right there from Cam Farrell. So Nick Curtis, a teammate of Farrell's at Coker University, looking to capitalize on these 2 runners on the base path. Still only 1 down for Sam Johnson, the first hit of the night for the Porcupines on that last one. Nick Curtis, the lefty, with 6 RBIs on the season. hoping to make it 7, but takes a ball looking, that one just outside of the zone. Once again, a really tight for strike zone for this home plate umpire. Starting to get a little bit cooler here, though, for both squads as sun setting over left field, and that one is also going to be a ball, so 2-0 count, and a base runner here for Johnson could put the Corndogs in a bit of trouble. Still have gotten out to this 5-0 lead. But early in this contest, as the 2-0 pitch is up, and it goes up, but the throw back to third will not result in anything. Meanwhile, it's actually going to bring Cam Farrell from first to second, so now 2 runners in scoring position for Pineville. And Jeff Pluta, the manager for the Corndogs, heading out to the field, clearly upset about something on that last play. Umpires have been a hot topic tonight for both coaches, Manriquez and Pluta, which sends up a 3-1 pitch, or it should be 2-1. The scoreboard says 3-0. The umpire says 3-1, so it's going to be 2-1. And with runners on first and second and third, excuse me, Sam Johnson throws that one in. And now the count is actually 3-1 with a chance for the Porcupines to load the bases. This has easily been their best opportunity of the games thus far. Curtis takes the 3-1 pitch outside and will do exactly that. Load the bases. Porcupines have Cam Farrell, Cam Murray, and Nick Curtis on the base path as Jeff Pluta is going to head to the bump to have a conversation with his starter tonight. So while they do that, we're going to take a quick timeout ourselves over here, but stay tuned for the remainder of the third inning. That was just a quick little break, so hopefully you're staying with us in what is a much closer game than it looks, as that pitch is going to be hit. The double play possibility is made right there. A beautiful 6-4-3 double play to end the inning for the Corndogs. And after loading the bases, Queen City enters the fourth, still having yet to give up a run. The exact play the Corndogs needed right there. And we'll take it to the fourth after this quick break. top of the fourth inning here between the Corndogs and the Porcupines. Away team out to a 5-0 advantage here. And Trent Boone retakes the bump for Pineville. Came in relief of Jonathan Hyman for the Porcupines. Was able to minimize the damage that the Corndogs did in that third inning. Still, though, Queen City put up 3 runs in the third frame. Extended their advantage to 5-0. And step back up to bat with number 15, Adam Quintero. Gets under that pitch right there on an 0-1 count, but pops out for the third go-around in this Corndogs order of the night, with Dave Masri following up Quintero. Masri reached first base the last time he was up at plate, got a single. Masri now has 16 hits on the season, but looks at that pitch for strike number 1. Masri is third on the Corndogs in strikeouts on the season, though he still has managed to have a .326 average, which is among the team leaders. And he'll get his second single of the night as he rifles that one out to left field. A ground single right there to get the first base runner of the fourth for Queen City. That sends up Will Budnick, who reached first base on an errant throw and the fielder's choice. So he's got on first twice tonight. Though the stat book may beg to disagree in terms of how he did it. Though the lefty from Queens takes that pitch outside for ball number 1. Budnick will swing and miss on that one, and the throw over to second is going to be an out. Dave Masri unable to get there in time. The tag applied right there by Tyler Rokes. And now 2 down for the Corndogs with a 1-1 count on Budnick, and the base is emptied after that throw. A great one at that from Calder Garris behind the plate. Budnick leads the Corndogs in doubles with 6 of them on the season. Had 1 against Concord on Saturday. And now up to a 2-0 and 2-1, advantage in the count. Budnick with the 4th best average for the Corndogs. And that one's going to be ruled a strike. Just getting in there from Trent Boone. So count even at 2, and Budnick having to defend the plate here. Watches that one go outside. A good look right there for Budnick, who's entering his junior season at Queens. Staple in this Corndogs lineup really at first base and sometimes in the designated or extra hitter positions. Now with a full count, the pitch from Boone is fouled off by Budnick, opposite side, to keep this thing alive. Dylan Lewis is on deck. He's 0 for 2 on the night. But with 2 outs, it could stop here if Budnick isn't able to reach base. The full count pitch is in, and once again, Budnick pops that one back. The 6'1", 205 Charlottean. Keeping things going in a battle of an at-bat between him and Boone. Boone attended Marvin Ridge High School in Marvin, North Carolina, not too far away from here. And will lose this at-bat to Budnick, the more seasoned veteran entering his junior year. Meanwhile, Boone yet to play college ball, one of the and rising freshman on this team for the Porcupines, and he'll walk Budnick to send Will to the first base for the third time this evening. And a quick meeting, it looks like, between Boone and the home plate umpire. Maybe discussing something about something. Can only imagine. But a quick meeting at that, so we'll pick back up right now with Dylan Lewis. He has his college teammates over at first base. And Lewis is grounded out his second time up after striking out in the first inning. And the first pitch he sees will go for a ball. The Corndogs hitting just basically 300 on the season as a team, and Dylan Lewis slams his bat in frustration after popping that one out. The play made by Ethan McLean at first, and the Corndogs strand another runner as we head to the bottom of the fourth with the Queen City squad not being able to extend their 5-0 lead. After making the inning-ending out at first base, Ethan McLean heads back up to bat. The lefty stepping up to the plate for the second time this evening, going up against Sam Johnson, still in the game. So far has allowed no runs and one hit through 3 innings of work. A solid night on the bump for the freshman from Marietta College. Johnson has 3 punch-outs on the evening. And with a 2-0 count, gets his first strike to bring it back to a 2-1 count now. McLean up at bat, attends Belmont Abbey, and actually looks like that wasn't going to be a strike on the last pitch, so it was ruled 4 balls and as many pitches, and Ethan McLean will take first, which sends up number 27, Lucas Martino. Martino, who's batting .268 on the year, is tied for the team lead with 2 home runs, but also has a 15 strikeout to 5 walk ratio among the team leaders, second to be exact in strikeouts, and goes hunting right there for a home run. Comes up with nothing, so Martino Charlotte native who attends Lander University. Down 0-1 in the count now, has McLean at first, and that pitch is going to be high from Sam Johnson, so count levels at uno. Sam Johnson looking to settle in, or looks to have settled in after allowing two runs in just over 2 innings of work against the Kingsmen in his last start. Granted, that Kingsmen squad was very talented and handed the Corndogs their last loss, which was back on June 27th. Queen City fell 4-9 in that one, as the 2-1 pitch is up high to bring it to a 3-1 count. Since then, though, the Corndogs have rattled off 3 straight wins, 2 of them being in conference, to move to 8-6 in the SCBL. This game obviously not a conference affair, though. Any game is one you want to win. Miller St. John gets the throw over at first, and that is going to be 2 outs. McLean was already halfway to second, and the double play. Miller St. John skies for the line ball, gets the outs, and makes the simple toss over to Will Budnick at first. McLean got caught in a bit of a jam right there. So now 2 down in 1 hit, and Jeff Pluto's going to step out to the bump. It looks like it could be the end of the night for Sam Johnson as he takes off his glove, and that might be the case. So a pitching change after this break looks to be in store. Only 1 hit allowed in 3 innings and change from Sam Johnson. No runs allowed, and the Marietta product walks off to a wave of applause from the Corndogs faithful here at Jack Hughes Park. So we'll be back for the new pitcher as Queen City looks to get the final out of the 4th inning coming up. Well, welcome back, everyone. 2 down here for the Corndogs in the bottom of the 4th, who have a 5-0 lead right now, and a new pitcher in the game, number 14, Will Hansen, taking the place of Sam Johnson, who had an excellent night on the bump. Got the Corndogs out to this lead, has only allowed 1 hit, but ends his evening here in the 4th inning. Don't want to wear out the arm too much, as the home stretch, I should say, of SCBL season right around the corner. So Will Hansen steps in for some continued action. And for those of you who watch us on the broadcast or attend Corndog games in person, you know that Will Hansen is a frequent contributor in this rotation, or should I say out of the bullpen as well. And he gets a swing and a miss right there out of Calder Garris. One pitch away here from sending things to the fifth. The pitch from Hansen is swung and missed on, so the pitching change pays dividends as the Catholic University of America freshman gets his first strikeout of the night, his 21st of the season, and sends us to the fifth inning where the Corndogs still have a 5-0 lead. We're back here for the top of the fifth inning between your Queen City Corndogs and the home team, the Pineville Porcupines. For those of you tuning in that are Corndog faithful, as we assume many of you are, given it's our own broadcast, lot to like so far. 5-0 lead, only one hit allowed. And a new pitcher in the game for the Porcupines. Their third of the evening is number 19, Garrett Dunn. The first pitch that the lefty tosses, though, will go for a ball against Peter Gullo in the box, who has been walked both times he stepped up tonight. Second pitch, though, will go clear for a strike, and that one is going to be off the tip of the bat from Gullo. He tries to get over to first in time, but unable to do so, and one up, one down now for the Porcupines and Garrett Dunn. Dunn is from Charleston, South Carolina, making his way up to the Old North State for some action in the Old North State League, entering his senior year at Coker University and making his sixth appearance of the year for this Pineville squad. So Gullo grounds out and sends up Harrison Wilson, who got to first base on an errant throw his last time up. And with one out, that pitch goes right by the belt buckle of Harrison Wilson. 2-0 advantage for the Winthrop Eagle. Has no runners on and takes a hack at that one, but will foul it back to bring the count to 1-2. Harrison Wilson, obviously a fantastic infielder and not too shabby with the bat himself, though he really has stood out on the mound for the Corndogs in 8 innings pitched. Wilson has only had an ERA of 1.13, but at the plate right now, that one's going to be fouled up and caught in the outfield, or should I say in the foul area. The play made by Ethan McLean, who's had a busy night over there at first. And so with 2 up, 2 down now for the Corndogs, with Harrison Boothlet heading up to bat. Boothlet looks at that one go for a strike. 0-1 count now on Boothlet, who, as we mentioned, recorded a home run over the weekend and gets his second hit of the night, hitting that one opposite side through the third base gap and giving the Corndogs their first base runner of the inning, 5th hit of the night, and Boothlet, 3 of 3, having a productive evening here at Jack Hughes Park. Those work to be done if Boothlet wants to get to home. Still only on first and 2 outs. And now an 0-1 count on Nathan Sammy, who has struck out as well as been walked tonight. Going up against Garrett Dunn, who has put 2 away here in the 5th. And after that checked swing from Sammy results in a ball hitting the barrel of Sammy and going foul. An 0-2 count now for Garrett Dunn, who has 17 strikeouts in 18 innings of work on the season. One of the more productive pitchers for this Porcupine squad. Sammy will chip it over to Farrell at short, and be thrown out. So again, the Corndogs get retired quickly, and that will bring us to the bottom of the 5th with no more runs scored. Corndogs unable to extend their 5-0 lead. Porcupines coming up to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning, still looking to get on the board. Only have recorded 1 hit on the night. And that hit may go, but instead stays in the air a bit too long, and Emerson Monbaron's fly ball will get tracked down by Dylan Lewis in the right field. And 1 pitch, 1 down for Will Hansen, who had 1 batter to face in the last inning, coming in relief of Sam Johnson. Now getting his first full inning of work tonight, though. Hansen has gotten plenty of innings on the season, 18.1 to be exact, coming into tonight's contest. And that pitch is going to be up against the backstop. No damage done, though, as the new batter, number 17, Tyler Oakes, has no runners on to work with and a 1-0 count. Hansen has that one fouled straight back by Oakes, evening the count at 1. Oakes, who is uncommitted, native of Charlotte, North Carolina, playing in his 10th game out of 21 now for the Porcupines. Meanwhile, Will Hansen throws that one outside to bring it to a 2-1 count. Will Hansen against the Locos only pitched 1 out, so 1/3 of an inning was put in relief after third baseman Will Samuelson was put into the game with a big lead, and once things started getting a little fishy with Samuelson at the mound, the Corndogs did put in Will Hansen to sure things up and make sure that game didn't become a massive comeback. So, in his actual last extended run of baseball, Will Hansen came in relief of the same pitcher, Sam Johnson, in that 4-9 loss to the Kingsmen. Through 3 innings of work, and boy was it work, as the pitch right there is going to be hit right into the center gap. The second hit of the night for the Porcupines comes courtesy of Tyler Oakes, as he gets a single with 1 out. And a welcome sight for all the Pineville faithful here at Jack Hughes Park on a beautiful night. The sun has set, temperatures have cooled, and it looks to have become less brutal for the players out there as well. Temperatures were touching 90, not even including humidity to start things off. So with 1 runner on, the pitch from Hansen is going to be ruled a strike, going up against number 25, Nate Firstman. Firstman 0 of 26 on the year, looking to get his first hit of the season. And that one is out of the glove of Harrison Boothlet. Oakes able to scamper on over to second, and now a runner in scoring position for the Porcupines. We mentioned Will Hansen in his last full run against the Kingsmen that he performed quite well. Well, he had 5 strikeouts in 3 innings, only allowed 1 hit and 1 earned run, and only walked 1 batter, which is something Hansen can hang his hat on. But that one is hit out into right field. The play made by Dylan Lewis, who rifles it back to Miller St. John at short. So the second out of the inning, and the runner unable to advance at second. Oakes will hold up there. So with 2 down, that will bring up number 13, Cam Murray. Hansen, though, we alluded to it before that hit, only has 4 walks on the season and the second most strikeouts on the Corndogs, so a 21-4 ratio. Can't be displeased with that if you're Jeff Pluta and the pitching coaches over here for Queen City, as a first pitch strike is thrown right down Main Street from Will Hansen, who entered tonight's game with a 5.4 ERA. And a quick timeout taken. So while this timeout is taken, we can talk about Hansen, who's allowed a team-high 25 hits and is second in earned runs for the Corndogs. So we mentioned the good, that's kind of the bad, and one of those players, it was really an indication of Hansen being one of the underclassmen on this team. But when he has been on, he has surely been on fire, and hoping to continue his hot start here in this one. Has one strikeout already and has two down here. Only allowed one hit in the inning. Rokes got the single to get on base. And now with a 1-1 count, Hansen winds this one up and low for ball number 2. Hansen came into the night with 20 strikeouts. Only Seth Edgerton has more for the Corndogs on the season with a whopping 28. Edgerton got some run over the weekend. Now Hansen coming in relief of Sam Johnson. Throws that one right down the middle, but it's going to be ruled a ball, it seems. So that one looked to be a no-doubter, but instead we'll have to doubt. No other choice. So a 3-1 count. Chance for Cam Murray to get on base. Has been walked 9 times on the season heading into this game. But he's trying to do it the old-fashioned way as it is hit up in between second base and Dylan Lewis in the outfield. Dave Mosry and Dylan Lewis unable to get to that one, and the Porcupines put up their first run of the night. And looks like Murray will advance all the way to third, as that one might have gone out of play. So the second hit of the inning for the Porcupines finally puts Pineville on the board and sends up the top of the order. Could be a run in the brewing for this Pineville squad. Cam Farrell up at bats. Has played 16 out of the 20 games for the the Porcupines this season, and has a team high 23 hits, while also leading Pineville with a .354 average. Just what you want out of your leadoff man, and he'll take that pitch as a strike looking from Will Hansen, runner on third. Hansen allowed the run just moments ago, though. Might not actually go on him as the throw was errant. Either way, that one is going to be popped up into the outfield by Farrell and tracked down by Adam Quintero. So the Porcupines get on the board for the first time this evening, but only put up 1 run as we head to the top of the 6th with the Corndogs on top 5-1. 5 innings down, possibly 4 to go, depending on how these next set of innings go. And Garrett Sander up to bat, starting things off for the Corndogs, attempting to lay a bunt, but it'll go foul, and the count moves 0-1. Sander 0 of 2 on the night, looking to record his first hit of the evening, and it won't be easy as the new pitcher in the game for the Porcupines is Noah Emig, a senior from Coker University who has been simply dominant so far this season. The sidearm ace throws that one for a ball, and Emig, through 11 innings and change of work, only has a .77 ERA. Phenomenal figure right there from Emig. Though that one is going to be chopped and fouled by Sander as he stays alive in the count. 1-2 now on Sander. Emig from Goose Creek, South Carolina, the hometown of Corndog outfielder Caleb Singleton, who's not playing in tonight's contest. Though that little tidbit of information really puts in perspective how even in an out-of-conference affair, these teams are oh so connected. And Garrett Sander makes good contact with that pitch, but it's going to go just a bit too high and not far enough as it's tracked down in left field right there by Firstman. And now one down for Queen City, who have slowed down a bit. Besides the third inning in which they put up 3 runs and the first in which they put 2, when the Corndogs haven't gotten on the board, it's been quick work from the Porcupines on the bump. And 1 up, 1 down now as Miller St. John heads to the plate, who is also 0 of 2 on the night. And that pitch is right down Central Avenue for strike number 1. Noah Emig has appeared in 8 games this season, primarily a relief pitcher. As that one is chopped over to second base, the throw from Rokes is not there in time. Miller St. John hustling and speeding down the base path to get a single and a much-needed one for Queen City. Looking to extend their lead or at least keep this Porcupine squad at arm's distance. And now the top of the order, back up for Queen City, Adam Quintero, who is 0 of 3 on the night, looking to get right. Quintero, a much more talented player than tonight's stat line would suggest. Meanwhile, St. John unable to be picked off at first. St. John, a true threat to run, had 14 stolen bags in his sophomore year at Gaston College, where he played with Adam Quintero, both JUCO products for the Rhinos, heading up to higher level after this season, and giving their new coaches, respectively, for St. John at Lenore Ryan and for Quintero at Appalachian State, some film to look at of them in summer ball. Quintero trying to advance his former teammate. But once again, St. John picked off, or attempted to be picked off, at first. This throw from Emig is actually going to come with a steal, and that one is over the head of Tyler Rokes. And St. John gets the theft and puts himself in scoring position as the count now 2-1 on Adam Quintero. Quintero went 1 of 4 in his Corndogs debut with a double. Has joined the team late after some extended run at Gaston College, making the Junior College World Series. St. John joined a little bit before him, though both were mid-season additions to the roster, and welcome ones at that. And the 2-3-1 pitch is going to result in a walk, so Quintero heads to base for the second time tonight. He was hit by a pitch the first throw of the game for either side. And now 2 on with only 1 out. which brings up Dave Mosry, who has had a productive night, got hit by a pitch in the second at-bat of the game, and then has racked up back-to-back singles. That one is going to be chopped fair, going over to Farrell at third short, and once again a poor throw results in a runner getting over to first. Won't be ruled as a single, but or maybe it will. We'll see how the stat book lays it down, but either way the bases are loaded for Queen City with Will Budnick, who is arguably the hottest hitter for the Corndogs, up to bat. Will Budnick has the third most hits on the team and leads Queen City in doubles, has 6 of them. No home runs or triples. Still managing to be among the team leaders in extra base hits is Budnick. And that one has made contact with and fouled back. Coming off a 2 of 5 performance at Concord where he hit one of those 6 doubles. Has 12 RBIs on the season, and with only 1 out and the bases loaded, a prime chance to add to that. This one is going to be in the shallow outfield, caught by the shortstop Farrell. Looks like St. John is not going to risk gunning it home, so now 2 down here for the Corndogs, and Budnick pops out, sending up his college teammate Dylan Lewis, who is 0 of 3 on the night. Lewis, who has the third most RBIs on the Corndogs with 14 of them. Hoping maybe this could be his chance that he turns around his night. Third time wasn't a charm, but perhaps the fourth time can be. Though Noah Emig, who has 12 strikeouts on the season in just over 11 innings of work. No easy task to hit off of, though this one is going to be fouled by Dylan Lewis. Sun almost completely set here at Jack Hughes Park. As you can see, it's really turned into a beautiful evening, and Corndogs looking to enjoy the beautiful evening with a victory over halfway there, but plenty of work to do, and Corndogs have stranded runners throughout this game. It's been a problem for the season, and with the bases loaded, Lewis is going to take a hack at this one and send it straight back towards the concession stand here. And now a 1-2 count. Emig trying to get out of the jam, has runners on first, second, and third, and that one is grounded over to short, and the bump is going to bring in 2 runs. Quintero and St. John, the former JUCO teammates, are the 6th and 7th runs of the night for Queen City, and a fortunate bounce for Corndogs, as it looked like on multiple occasions it could have been a play over at second base, but nevertheless, that single will be the first hit of the night for Lewis and extend the Corndogs' lead to 6. And now Peter Gullo will look to continue this little mini spurt for the Corndogs, but Emig will gather that one and get the play over at first. No difficulties on that one, so we head to the bottom of the 6th inning with Queen City putting up 2 more runs and extending their lead to 6. Bottom of the 6th inning here. Corndogs put up 2 more in the top half of the frame, extend their lead to 6. And the Porcupines looking to come up with anything as Nick Curtis, the first batter of the frame for Pineville, takes a ball on the first pitch of the inning, courtesy of Mason Price. Now a 2-0 count. Price, the new pitcher in the game for Queen City, got 1 inning of work against Lake Norman, allowed 1 run, and gets the strike right there to climb back in the count. 2-1 for Price, who is now in his 11th inning, or should I say approaching his 11th inning of work for the season. A second consecutive strike from Price evens his count at 2. Price, a big guy, 6'5", 215. And he hits the batter right there. It's number 23, Nick Curtis, making his way over to first. Both teams have had some difficulty with hitting the batters, that is. And that'll send up number 34, Chris Manriquez. Manriquez, second on the team in hits and average with 21 hits and a 350 batting average, respectively. Among the team leaders with 15 RBIs. And that one made good contact with, but fouled it straight back. The one downside of Manriquez, or should I say the one downside that comes with his potent contact, is the fact that he has 17 strikeouts on the season in 20 games. Not a fantastic mark by any measures. Though, when he goes down swinging, as he's only been walked 4 times the entire season. Has played 16 games, has those 17 strikeouts, so averaging over a strikeout a game. Price trying to take advantage of that here as the count now moves to 1-2. Runner on first is Curtis, who's taking a bit of a lead over there. Price, the lefty from Pitt Community College, has a clear view, though, of first base and deals this one in, and it's going to be ruled a ball. That one looked like it could have been a looking punch out, but umpire had different plans, and now 2-2 count on our hands. The runner's going to go here as Manriquez hits it over, and once again, an odd ball bounce off the chest of Miller St. John. Manriquez goes to first. Curtis advances to third. And with no outs, the Pineville Porcupines on the verge of adding on another run to their total, hoping to make a comeback here, but limited time to do it. And we've seen that a bit tonight. The bounces throughout the infield have been difficult to say the least. Wonder if at any point these coaches blame the grounds crew and maybe try to plead that it's not their own players. But that's going to be a swinging strike on number 37, or number 31, Ethan McLean, the first baseman from Belmont Abbey. Like Manriquez, also has 17 strikeouts on the year in 18 games. McLean, very similar numbers to Manriquez across the board, both with 20 and 21 hits. Their averages both at 350, and they both have 17 strikeouts and roughly 15 RBIs. So those two playing a little game throughout these 20 or so games in the Old North State League and out of conference opponents as well. That these two guys have played a lot of what you can do, I can do better. We'll see if McLean can do better, though. Has a 2-2 count. No outs yet for the Corndogs. Price surveying first and stepping off the mound for a moment, taking time. Mason Price has a 9 ERA and 10 innings of work and 9 strikeouts. Can't make it 10 right there. Is it now a full count? Risk of loading the bases, and walks have been a problem for Mason Price. He's second on the Corndogs in batters walked and sent 4 of them over to first base via balls in the game against Lake Norman in just 1 inning. And once again, that's going to be a walk courtesy of Mason Price, as Curtis will scurry across home plate to get the second run of the night for the Porcupines, bringing this lead within 5. Now number 27, Lucas Martino, heads to the plate with 2 runners on, no outs. Martino from Lander University, batting .268 on the year, has 12 RBIs and in a position to tack on a few more if he's able to capitalize. As that one, it looks like it might have hit the elbow of Martino, and it did, so the pitch clips Martino right there from Mason Price, and Harrison Boothlet will step out to the bump to have a quick chat with his pitcher. Price has, as we mentioned, struggled with walks and hit by pitches. And with that hit by pitch right there, the bases are now loaded with no outs. Porcupines in prime position to make a bit of a comeback at this one. And a new batter in the game for the Porcupines, number 21, Jackson Hughes. Hughes batting .298 on the year from Wellington, Florida. And he hits that one right to Miller St. John. Did he grab that? Was that a cat? Either way, St. John, did he glove that? Waiting to see any sort of confirmation. It looked like throw might have been there at second, so there is at least 1 out. And it looks like they're going to give the 3rd run, second of the inning right there. I believe it's Manriquez who crossed home. So what could have been a nearly spectacular play from Miller St. John still results in an out and brings up number 11, Emerson Monbaron, with runners on the corners and 1 down. Queen City put up 2 in the top half of the 6th. Porcupines have matched thus far and have a chance to add even more. Monbaron takes that first pitch for a ball. Monbaron from Rockingham Community College, batting .294 on the year with 6 RBIs. And that pitch is inside for a strike. Mason Price levels the count at 1. Monbaron has 10 hits in as many games and looks that one off high. Queen City not hitting the panic button just yet. Still up by 4. As this pitch is in and whiffed on by Monbaron. So now a 2-2 count for Mason Price. Has yet to record a strikeout in this game. Have to assume that would be a big boost of confidence for the Pitt Community College sophomore. But unable to secure it right there. This is going to be a full count now. Could be a pivotal pitch right here from Mason Price. Monbaron, who struck out 10 times this year and been walked 6 times, makes it 7 as once again the bases are loaded for the Porcupines. Now number 17, Tyler Rokes, will head to the plate. Rokes recorded a hit in his last at-bat. Now returns with bases full and a ball 1 pitch right there from Mason Price. You start to wonder if Price allows another base runner here in Rokes. Do you pull the plug on this inning as Tyler Rokes blasts that one up into the left field, but just shallow, so Miller St. John will track back and pick up the second out for Queen City. A much needed one for Mason Price, and with that, 2 are down, and number 25, Nate Firstman, headed up to bat. And if you are the Corndogs, this is probably the guy you want to see at the plate in this situation. Firstman, we've covered it earlier, 0 of 26 on the season, and fouls that one vertically. Can anyone get to it, though? That's the question. And no, but the bleachers can. Looks like everybody is okay. Yep, everyone's good. Had to double check. Right by our side over here where our camera is. Thankfully it didn't hit the camera. Or the iPhone, I should say. My iPhone, I should say. Anyway, an 0-1 count. Make it 0-2 after that pitch goes down Central Ave on a nice little cruise. And Nate Firstman, who has yet to record a hit in 13 games, has 16 strikeouts on the season. Can't get there this time, and a runner is going to go home. Harrison Boothelight hesitated for a second, and it looks like Ethan McLean is going to put on the third run of the inning for the Porcupines, bring this game within 3 as close as it's been in a minute. And the wild pitch and error behind the plate advances all the runners as well, so 2 in scoring position and a 1-2 count on number 25, Nate Firstman. Firstman goes swinging on that one for his 17th, 17th strikeout of the season, continues his cold spell, but not without the Porcupines, doing a little damage, putting up 3 runs here in the inning and bringing us to the top of the 7th with a 7-4 score in favor of the Corndogs. After putting up 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Porcupines head back to defense, looking to keep this game within striking distance. New pitcher tasked with doing that, though, is number 4, Colby Helms, who throws a ball on his first throw of the inning to the batter, number 25, Harrison Wilson. Wilson makes great contact with that one, but it will go fair. The outfielder Firstman couldn't get there in time, and a base hit to lead things off for Harrison Wilson, which sends up Harrison Bouthillette, who has 3 singles on the night. Bouthillette has been a bit up and down throughout this season, but when he is putting the pieces together like he has tonight, it is really something to watch. Bouthillette, with 15 hits now on the season, went 0 of 3 in his last game with 3 strikeouts and has yet to not hit one tonight, and keeps that alive as Bouthillette catapults that one off into the outfield, but it is tracked down by Firstman. So the first time that Bouthillette won't reach base this evening. Still good contact made with the ball. And one down now for the Porcupines, with number 5, Nathan Sammy, looking to get his first hit of the night. Bouthillette got a home run against Lake Norman over the weekend, as did Nathan Sammy. Sammy has 3 dingers on the season and watches that one go for strike number 1. Harrison Wilson taking a decent lead at first, as this pitch is going to be in for strike number 2. A quick 0-2 advantage for Colby Helms, the Rock Hill native who attends USC Union, entering his sophomore year there. Has made 8 appearances this summer for the Porcupines. The lefty deals this one in and can't paint the corner right there, so make it a 1-2 count now. I'm good. No, I'm not good. Sammy has to defend the plate here, and we'll just watch that go into the plate. A low ball, and allowing Harrison Wilson to get on over to second base. Some breathing room now for Sammy if he's able to make contact with it. And a 2-2 pitch coming up. Colby Helms has pitched 9 innings in 8 games. 9 strikeouts, 8 walks, and a middle of the pack 5.0 ERA. Helms put in charge of helming this part of the comeback if it's to happen. And Sammy launches that one at a 90-degree angle, but it is going to be tracked down, and some Porcupines meet at the center of the field to figure out who got that one. But it is Cam Farrell who gloves it, and with the pop out now, the Corndogs have 2 outs. Runner on second for Garrett Sanner, who is 0 of 2 on the night. Sanner, a plus 300 hitter. Watches that one go low for ball number 1. His 15 hits, 16 hits are good for 5th on the Corndogs, but he goes up swinging right there to even the count at 1. Colby Helms deals this one in, and it is fouled straight back by Sanner. And now Helms just 1 pitch away from holding the Corndogs scoreless in the 7th. Pineville slowly made their way back into this one. Still only a 3-run game, despite some very difficult moments in this one for the Porcupines, as that ball is going to go foul into the Corndogs bullpen, unable to be tracked down there by Curtis in the right field, which will bring up yet again a 1-2 pitch from Helms. Sanner has to defend the plate. The Corndogs have struck out 11 times in back-to-back games. but won't strike out right there as that pitch is looked at to bring it to an even 2-2. Sander, who started off the season on fire, has come down to earth a bit, as one would expect given that toward start. And Sander is going to be ruled out looking, so the strikeout from Helms retires the side and brings us to the bottom of the 7th, where the Porcupines are down 4-7, looking to make a run at this thing. We're back here for the bottom of the 7th inning between the Corndogs and the Porcupines. QC trying to protect a 7-4 lead, and a new pitcher in the game to do so. Number 8, Seth McElveen. And that pitch is made contact with St. John, able to backhand it and throws it over to Budnick at first, but the throw over the head of the first baseman, Murray, able to get on over to second. And a leadoff single with, leadoff double, but an error once again, so not an official double. Puts a runner in scoring position here for the Porcupines,
Number 8, Cam Farrell.
which sends up Cam Farrell, the leadoff man for Pineville. And after one pitch, just a quick meeting on the mound between Seth McElveen and Harrison Bouthillette, the catcher. McElveen from Lugoff, South Carolina, standing at 5'11", 200 pounds, has seen limited action so far this season for the Corndogs. Last played against the Locos, but before that it was all the way back in early June against the Bootleggers, making his third appearance of the season tonight. He's pitched 2 innings with a 13.5 ERA, has 3 strikeouts along the way. But the first pitch that he threw gets knocked into a extra base hit. And that pitch is inside for ball number 1. McElveen with a difficult at-bat on his hands going up against Cam Farrell, who is the statistical leader in most major categories for this Pineville squad. As that pitch is low to bring it to 2-0. Farrell through 16 games has 23 hits. Only 5 RBIs, though. You can excuse that as been a leadoff man. The best strikeout to walk ratio on the team as well. But that one is a strike. Looking on Farrell, who may have disagreed with that one, but the count still 2-1. McElveen, the USC Lancaster product. One of the handful of guys on this Corndogs roster that attend Lancaster. Looks back at second and deals this one in. Contact made, and St. John unable to glove it. No play to be made at either first or third. St. John's had a semi-difficult night over there at shortstop. 2 errors now in the inning for St. John, though the bounces have been difficult to say the least. And with that, there's no outs still and 2 runners on. 1 on third, 1 on first. Corners right now for the Porcupines, and the tying run at the plate. It's number 23, Nick Curtis, who bats .161 on the season, has 5 hits, 6 RBIs. Not the worst guy to be facing from a statistical standpoint if you're Seth McElveen trying to get someone out here in the bottom of the 7th. The righty looks over at third and deals this one in and high for ball number 1. Nick Curtis from Coker University. Has a 1-0 advantage in this count. Does Curtis. Runners on the corners. No outs yet. McElveen deals this one in, and it is whiffed on. Sent him chasing in McElveen and picks up the first strike of the at-bat. Count evens at 1. Corndogs once again in a bit of a predicament. Allowed 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Allowed 1 run in the bottom of the 5th after having 4 shutout innings to start this one off. The relief pitchers not necessarily having their best performance as a whole. With this one from McElveen going in and low for ball number 2. Batters on the season only hitting .237 off the Corndogs. And the Porcupines only have 3 hits tonight. As the pickoff attempt is no good at first. Almost made right there on Farrell, but unable to do so. And that's a good throwback. Farrell has a team leading 14 stolen bases. Another asset you like out of him as a leadoff, and he'll hold at first right there on a near wild pitch from McElveen to extend the count to 3-1. Things could get dangerous here. Tying run at the plate for the Porcupines, and one more ball and that could send the tying run to first. McElveen, the 3-1 pitch. Gets it in for strike number 2 and a pivotal full count on our hands right here. Curtis has 11 strikeouts on the year, 8 walks, and that is going to be a walk and a wild pitch that results in Cam Murray getting across home plate. And now a 7-5 contest with 4 unanswered runs from the Porcupines,
Forward, Chris Manriquez.
which sends up Chris Manriquez, the senior from Lander, who is the best power hitter on this Pineville roster, arguably. And the second best, or the best arguably, would be Ethan McLean as well. And those two go back-to-back in the order. So McElveen with the game-leading run at the plate in a difficult situation as that pitch is high and inside, forcing Manriquez to scurry back and take ball number 1. Queen City has allowed all 5 of their runs in the last 3 innings. Last 2 innings and counting, I should say, as the bunt is laid nearly perfectly. Budnick gets up and the rotation is made. A nice throw out at first. It's number 5, Nathan Sammy, getting over there to make the play, and runners will hold. Runners will go to second and third. So 2 in scoring position and 1 down with number 31, Ethan McLean, who we mentioned earlier, up to bat. McLean, who virtually shades and mirrors the exact stats that Manriquez does, has 1 home run on the season, 20 hits, 16 RBIs, and 2 runners in scoring position right now to help boost those numbers if he's able to capitalize. But the first pitch from McElveen will go outside for ball number 1. The big lefty from Blacksburg, South Carolina, stepping up. Takes the 0-1 pitch, and it goes into the lap of Harrison Boothallette, who does a nice job corralling that one. Could have squeaked through, but unable to do that, as the catcher makes a great play behind the plate and brings up a 2-0 pitch with 2 runners on. McLean, the first baseman for the Porcupines, looks at this one, and it will go high. So 3 pitches, 3 balls. McElveen at risk of loading the bases. Meanwhile, McLean has been walked 12 times this year. But that one's going to be ruled a strike, so McElveen looking to make his way back in this count now. Got down 3-0, brings it to 3-1. Still very much so in favor of Ethan McLean. And it will result in a walk, so McLean takes bases via the ball for a 13th time on the season in 18 games. And now the bases are loaded, which brings out skipper Jeff Pluta to have a conversation with Seth McElveen, wondering if his night might be done, and it looks like it could be. So we'll stay tuned, and we'll be back for the remainder of the 7th inning after this quick break. Corndogs in a bit of a jam right here. Bases loaded with only one out, 7-5 game, and the Porcupines have clawed their way back into this one, or should I say quilled their way back into this one. And the first batter with the new pitcher is going to be Jacob Webb, the new pitcher. Lucas Martino, the new batter, goes swinging on that first pitch. Martino, a bit prone to striking and striking out at that. So the 0-1 pitch from Jacob Webb is just outside for ball number 1. And that gives us a moment to talk about Jacob Webb, who is a late addition to this squad. Played against the High Point Locos. Then also threw 2 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts against Lake Norman over the weekend. Looking to be a big contributor down the stretch. And though he's freshly with the Corndogs roster, skipper Jeff Pluta entrusting him with possibly the game right here. That pitch goes low for ball number 2. Count now 2-1. Webb surveying all those bases, each one with a porcupine on it. And a big swing from Martino comes up with nothing. 2-2 count. Martino has 15 strikeouts on the season, batting .268. Already has struck out tonight, and Webb looking to help out the Dogs a bit here, but that one goes outside for ball number 3. A walk here could bring the game within 1. Webb, who's pitched 2.2 innings on the season thus far, deals this one in, and it is a swing and a miss from Martino. Huge strikeout courtesy of Jacob Webb. His 3rd punch out of the season gives the Corndogs their 2nd out of the inning, with number 21, Jackson Hughes, up at the plate. An out here for Queen City would be massive. Hughes, in his 2nd at-bat of the evening, was put in as a pinch hitter for his 17th game of the season, batting just a hair under 300 as that one goes just outside of the glove of Harrison Buthelette, but able to keep it in front. And a 1-0 pitch coming up. Jackson Hughes has 14 hits, 4 RBIs, including a home run on the season. Attends Hillsborough Community College, where he is entering his junior year, and now in the 21st game of his summer season with the Pineville Porcupines, a chance to give them their first lead of the night. As that off-speed pitch is in for a strike, Jacob Webb with a nasty pitch right there. 1-1 count now, and just 2 strikes away for Webb. The righty deals this one in, and it's going to be low for ball number 2. Pineville has the tying run at 2nd, the leading run at 1st. 2 down, 2-1 count. Webb put in charge of stifling this Porcupines run, and that one had some juice on it. Webb deals it in for strike number 2 right down Central Avenue, and Webb, who was put in with the bases loaded and only 1 out, on the verge of getting yet another strikeout. And he is unable to do so. Full count now once again. The same situation as the last at-bat. Hughes on the season has struck out 12 times, walked 13. So relatively high numbers in both of those categories. We'll see if either of those prevail here in a crucial pitch from Jacob Webb. All runners are going to go, and that one is made contact with and lined out, but caught. Adam Quintero gloves it into left field and holds the Porcupines with only 1 run in the inning. Jacob Webb comes in and saves the day. bringing us to the top of the 8th inning with the Corndogs still keeping a 7-5 lead. It's getting late here in Pineville, North Carolina. Roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes into this game. The top of the 8th now on our hands with the back of the order coming up for the Corndogs, or should I say the top of the order coming up after Miller St. John, who is the last man in the order, heads up to bat. And St. John fouls off the first pitch of the at-bat. Number 23 singled his last time up. It's 1 of 3 on the night. And a new pitcher in the game for the Porcupines is number 16, Britton Adams, who gets quickly out to an, oh, never mind. Guess he can never assume that pitch was just outside to bring it to a 1-1 count rather than what I thought was going to be an 0-2 count. So the 1-1 pitch in from Adams and contact made by St. John, but it's going to go straight up into the infield and the catch made by first baseman Ethan McLean. 1 down now for the Corndogs, who have had some short innings. Innings that go by quickly, don't get deep into the order. Meanwhile, the Porcupines have really been testing the Queen City defense. So far, Corndogs have bent but have yet to break. You got to hope, though, that the offense can maybe give them a bit more of a cushion, as a 7-5 game now is in the works. And Adams, with 1 out, throws a first pitch strike right down Main Street to Adam Quintero, who is 0 of 2 on the night. Has reached first base twice, once on a walk, and then once when he got hit. But Quintero now down 0-2 in the count after fouling that one back. Quintero has seen limited work so far this season, but is batting .400 going into this game. And he hit 455 games with Gaston College, where he won Region 10 JUCO Player of the Year before transferring to Appalachian State. So that batting average looks not to be a fluke. The 0-2 pitch, though, is lined right to the shortstop, and it looks like Cam Farrell is going to be able to get there in time. And no, it's not. The throw was just out of the reach of Ethan McLean. He has to step off the bag, and Adam Quintero able to get his first hit of the night. Looking to start some sort of run here for Queen City as they look to pull away. This Porcupine squad has been a quill in the side of the Corndogs throughout the latter half of this game. 5 runs in the last 3 innings to bring this to a 2-run game with Dave Masri, who's hit 3 singles in a row now, hoping to replicate that. But much like the batter before him in Quintero, he takes a first pitch strike looking. Quintero had 16 stolen bases in 55 games with Gaston College, taking a big lead over there at first right now. Britton Adams, meanwhile, not looking to be too concerned with that, as Masri fouls it off, and once again an 0-2 count on our hands. Britton Adams, who attends Coker University, has pitched 8 games so far this season for the Porcupines, has 18 innings of work, and has been uber productive with a 1.5 ERA. Chris Manriquez and Pineville putting in the big guns here to try to make a comeback at this one, but that pitch is going to be just outside to bring it to a 1-2 count. Dave Masri has reached base all 4 times he stepped up to the plate tonight, continuing his hot play as of late. Masri with a very solid 3.26 ERA, or should I say .326 ERA. I might say ERA, batting average. He's getting laid over here for the commentator too. Still, that pitch is not going to be a pitch, as it was trying to pick off Adam Quintero at first, who is still taking a sizable lead over there. Not going to go, and that one tipped back by Masri, doesn't matter. Strike number 3, and the first time that Masri will be retired this evening. And now 2 down with Will Budnick up to the plate. Britton Adams, in addition to having a 1.5 ERA over 18 innings, has struck out 16 batters and only allowed 4 walks, the fewest among qualified pitchers on this Porcupines roster. The righty deals this one in and low. Quintero gonna gun it over to second to throw. Won't be there. So runner in scoring position for the Corndogs. Queen City has scored sparingly in this contest, but enough to get them out to a 7-5 lead. 7 hits for Queen City, 3 for Pineville. A combined 6 errors between the two teams. Some ugly baseball being played tonight as Budnick swings on that one and comes up short for a 1-1 pitch coming up. Budnick, one of the 2 lefties in the lineup tonight for Queen City, in addition to the catcher Harrison Bouthelet, has reached base a couple times, once on a walk, once on an error, and also had a fielder's choice where he did reach first, but it resulted in another out. And Budnick, coming off his hottest stretch of the season over the weekend, went 5 of 10. Now sits at 19 hits on the season, 12 RBIs, and has a runner at second in Quintero with a 1-2 pitch that goes low for ball number 2. The inning stays alive for the time being, though Britton Adams has the Corndogs with their backs against the wall. The York, South Carolina native retakes the mound, looking to shut the door on Queen City, But Budnick lofts this one up into the right outfield, and it's not going to go that far. And it will be handled by Curtis in right. And that will retire the side for Queen City, sending us to the bottom of the 8th with Pineville trying to make a run at this thing, down 5-7. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for the last stretch of this contest in which the Corndogs still, despite some dramatics and a push from the Porcupines, are in the lead 7-5. The first pitch that is thrown, though, is right over to Miller St. John via ground ball, and he'll throw out the runner. That's number 11, Emerson Monbaron, getting thrown out at first, so one down, and now only 5 outs for the Porcupines to make a comeback. And a pinch hitter in the game now, Louis Paulino, making his first trip to the batter's box tonight. Paulino from Jupiter, Florida, attends Eastern Florida State College. Looking to bring in some power as Chris Manriquez, as Paulino has a .311 average with 14 hits. One of the better batters on this team through 16 games of work for Paulino, as that pitch is a strike from Jacob Webb, who was triumphant in the bottom of the 7th, getting the Corndogs out of a potential potential lead-losing jam with the bases loaded and 1 out. Now returns to the mound and throws a ball for a 2-1 count. Paulino has played 14 games this season, hitting over 300 double-digit hits and RBIs for the Florida man, as that one is chopped foul to bring up a even 2-2 count. Jacob Webb has been really solid to start off his season. Had a bit of a rough stretch against the Locos in his first start, but struck out 2 batters and through 2 scoreless no-hit innings in his last outing against Lake Norman over the weekend, returning tonight and picking up where he left off, as that pitch is fouled off by Paulino, once again bringing us up a 2-2 count. Webb has 1 strikeout on the night. Winds this one up, and it is low to bring up a full count. Webb was able to record multiple outs on full counts in the last inning. One of those was a strikeout on Lucas Martino. As the full pitch comes in, and it is hit back for another foul ball. Paulino staying alive in this one. 1 down for the Corndogs. No runners on. Webb gearing up for the full count and deals this one in, and it is grounded to Miller St. John once again, making the play to Will Budnick at first. St. John's had a couple errors over there at shortstop tonight, but not letting that deter him. Only looking forward, never behind is St. John, as he gets the second out of the inning for the Corndogs, which brings up another pinch hitter, Declan O'Hara. O'Hara, a native of Fairfield, Connecticut, all the way from the Northeast, making his way down south. Surely this weather is a welcome sight for him. Not. It is steamy and humid out here in Pineville, and that pitch right there was hot as well, as it catches Declan O'Hara swinging. O'Hara, who attends Salve Regina University, entering his junior year there. Now making his 14th appearance for the Porcupines on the summer. Did he go on that one? And it looks like he didn't, so make it a 1-1 count now. O'Hara able to hold himself on that one. O'Hara batting .185 on the season with 5 hits. Numbers don't jump off on the screen, but put in this pivotal situation nevertheless. And that one is popped straight up. Harrison Bouthillette snares it and gets the third out of the inning. Jacob Webb tosses another scoreless frame and brings us to the top of the ninth, with the Corndogs having one last chance to give themselves a cushion here in a game that they lead 7-5 against the Pineville Porcupines. Crunch time here for both squads in a 7-5 game that the Porcupines trail in. Their hopes of making a comeback largely rely on Braden Adams' right arm right now, as the first pitch he throws to Dylan Lewis goes for a ball. Meanwhile, the Corndogs looking to extend a 2-run lead, give themselves some breathing room as the bottom of the ninth looms. And Dylan Lewis leading things off as he pops that one up and towards the fan section. That one will make its way to the parking lot here at Jack Hughes Field, which makes it 1-1 now on Dylan Lewis. The Corndogs already beat an Old North State League team earlier in the season, the Hendersonville Honeycrisps, as that one is fouled back to the exact same location. Now a 1-2 count on Dylan Lewis. But as I was saying, the Corndogs beat the Honeycrisps at their place, so looking to move to 2-0 against the Old North State League are the Corndogs. We'll have a rematch with that Hendersonville team later in the season. But for now, they're solely focused on the task ahead, which is the Pineville Porcupines, who have given them a fight to say the least. Looked like we could have been in for a bit of a blowout early between these two squads, but Pineville over the last 4 innings has put up 5 runs. Still, Queen City has kept them at bay. Braden Adams has a 1-2 count, and that's going to be high and outside, bringing up a 2-2 count. Dylan Lewis has fouled off multiple in this at-bat. Both sides getting a bit testy over here. Looking to start their 4th of July post All-Star break for the Old North State League. Trying to start their post-break with a victory. And Dylan Lewis hammers that one over the head of the right fielder. It's going to be a double at the very least for Dylan Lewis. Is he going to try to go more? And he won't. So after battling in that at-bat, having multiple pitches fouled back with a 1-2 or 2-2 count, Dylan Lewis gets on base with a double, his second consecutive hit after going 0 for 3 to start off this contest. And now a substitution for the Corndogs. Number 4, Caleb Singleton, coming in place of Peter Gullo. Gullo got walked twice tonight and grounded out twice tonight. Singleton taking his place. Offers a ton of speed as well as some good contact. Singleton has 13 hits on the season and has a home run as one of those hits. Yes, it was 9 RBIs and a potential 10th waiting in Dylan Lewis at second base. Braden Adams, meanwhile, throws that one in for a strike. 1-1 count now. Adams has yet to allow a run still, but flirting with one with no outs. And Singleton, the lefty, cracking that pitch over, and is it going to go fair? And it will. It trickles over the first base, and Dylan Lewis is going to round home. There is the 10th RBI for Caleb Singleton as he extends this lead to 3. Lewis capitalizes on his double, and that will bring up Harrison Wilson, number 25. Wilson has reached base 2 times tonight for the Corndogs. Now in his 5th at-bat of the evening, and a meeting between Porcupine skipper Chris Manriquez and the home plate umpire, maybe debating whether that ball was foul or fair. It was walking the tightrope over there down the first base line, but it benefits the away team as they extend this lead to 3. 8 runs on 9 hits for the Corndogs now. And a rare run allowed by Braden Adams. How will he respond? Has a runner on first in Caleb Singleton. Singleton has 8 stolen bases on the season, which is good for 3rd on the Queen City roster. Taking a pretty sizable lead over there at first right now, as Adams deals this one into Harrison Wilson, and it's going to go for strike number 1 inside. Harrison Wilson just looking at that one. The 1-0 pitch here from Adams is lined right to the center. Harrison Wilson gets a base hit, his third of the night, continuing what could be one of his best games of the season from a batting perspective. And now with 2 on, no outs, Britton Adams, who entered this game with a phenomenal 1.5 ERA in 18 innings pitched, had 16 strikeouts with only 4 batters walked. A reliable arm for the Porcupines, one of their most reliable, has been tested here by the Corndogs. 3 hits in a row for Queen City. Looking to put the nail in the coffin here. Singleton taking a big lead at second, as this pitch is up and away from Harrison Bouthillette, who's reached base 3 times tonight. Singleton's going to go on this one. The swing and the miss from Harrison Bouthillette allows both runners to advance, so Singleton's speed affects the throw right there from Garris behind the plate, and will bring up a 1-1 pitch with 2 runners in scoring position and a timeout, it appears, just to exchange the ball right there from the mound to here. So little game reset. That was the Corndogs' 10th hit of the night, has resulted in 8 runs. Still, though, game far from over, but contact from Harrison Bouthillette could perhaps be the finisher. That pitch is low and inside for ball number 2, though. Bouthillette won't go, and that'll bring up a 2-1 count. Singleton on third, Harrison Wilson at second. The other Harrison on this roster up at bats. And he takes a crack at that one, but tips it foul, bringing up an even 2-2 count. Bouthillette had 3 RBIs, including a home run against Lake Norman over the weekend, then followed it up with a 0-for-3 performance at Concord. Tonight, though, he's looked a lot like the former of those 2 games, with 3 hits, making great contact throughout, has yet to strike out despite being second on the team in Ks. As the 2-2 pitch is made contact with, chopped over to third. Singleton's going to get home, and the play will be made at first. So a fielder's choice gives the Corndogs another run on the board. Singleton gets across home. Harrison Wilson advances to the hot corner. And now 1 down for the Porcupines. The fielder's choice gives Harrison Bouthillette another RBI to his collection, with Nathan Sammy, who is 0-for-3 on the night, looking to change his fortunes. Has a runner at third and watches that pitch go just outside for a ball. Nathan Sammy, who is tied for the conference lead in home runs in the SCBL, not in a conference game tonight, but watches that pitch as that was ruled. Oh, that was ruled a strike. It was really close to Sammy, but the pitch going to bring up a 1-1 count now. Britton Adams throws this one in, and it's going to be strike number 2. Nathan Sammy struck out his first at-bat, on the verge of that once again. 1-2. Britton Adams having an atypical off night for him. But this game still within semi-reach. 4 runs has been done before. But with each tally added to the scoreboard, The Porcupines lessen and lessen their chances of having a shot at this one. 2-2 pitch coming, and it is made contact with a line drive right to the center fielder. Brings home Harrison Wilson and gives the Corndogs a 5-run lead. Nathan Sammy records his first hit of the night. And it looks like that may be the dagger. There's still plenty of time, but not plenty of outs. With Garrett Sander now, has a runner at first in Sammy. Sander, over 3 on the night. Rare for him to go that many at-bats without a hit. Wonder if the law of averages will kick in. But the first pitch from Adams is going to go for a strike. 0-1 count now with 1 out. Porcupines reeling here in the top of the 9th. Corndogs have put up 3 in the inning. As Sander lines that one right into the glove of Farrell, and he'll throw it back to first. A double play and a beautiful one at that to cap off the top of the 9th, but not without damage done. Queen City puts together a 3-0 run and sends us to the bottom of the 9th with a 5-run deficit for the Porcupines to make up. Last chance here for the Pineville Porcupines. Allowed 3 runs in the top of the 9th. Lead all the way up to 5 now for the Corndogs. And a new closer into the game for Queen City. Number 6, Aiden Meany, has been tasked with being the closer a decent amount of times this season. And something about Meany is that he just works quickly. He is going to not give you much time to think. Speed up the game. And that one is launched into center field, left center, and tracked down by Garrett Sander. 2 outs to go for the Corndogs. This is the first of a 3-game road trip, the last 3-game road trip, and the last road trip together of the season for Queen City. We'll never have to play more than back-to-back road games from here on out. This is leg 1 of that road trip, though, with 2 conference games coming up on Friday and Saturday. And if the Corndogs are able to hold on to this one, it would be a very nice start to that little stretch of games away from the Friar, as one down and now an 1-0 count for Aiden Meany, who enters this game with a 6.75 ERA and 6.2 innings of work. The Alabama Club baseball product winds that one in for ball number 2. Meany had 2 strikeouts in 1 inning pitch versus the Kingsmen when he last played, though that one hit was a solo shot home run. Still, he was able to secure the win, he was able to minimize the damage from there on out, but it wouldn't really matter as the Kingsmen pulled away 9-4 in that contest. Meanwhile, the 2-1 pitch here and now goes in for ball number 3. Aiden Meany from Nashua, New Hampshire, relocated to the Carolinas, attends Alabama University, or the University of Alabama, and walks the batter right there. So with 1 out, there's now 1 on for the Porcupines. Plenty of work to do as that's Cam Farrell making his way to first. Which brings up number 23, Nick Curtis. Curtis has played 15 out of the 20 games heading into this one, now 16 out of 21. Porcupines, at risk of falling below 500, have been teetering that line for the entire season, though this wouldn't affect their conference standing. And Meany deals that one in for a strike. Against the Locos the other day, Aiden Meany got his first at-bat of the season. We'll do that from time to time. And that's going to be a quick 0-2 count now on Curtis. Meany entered tonight with 5 strikeouts and 6.2 innings of work. Reloads. Stares over at first. And on the 0-2 pitch, he is able to get a swing and a miss, the 6th strikeout of the year for Aiden Meany. And now just 1 away from giving the Corndogs their 15th victory of the season. Chris Manriquez, number 34, now heading to the plate. Manriquez has been relatively quiet tonight, especially given how he leads the Porcupines in many statistical categories, or is up there in the lead in those categories. But one that he also leads in his strikeouts, we mentioned earlier, team leading 17 punch-outs on the season. Aiden Meany with the 0-1 pitch, 1-0, makes it 2-0. Only 3 hits tonight for the Porcupines thus far. Obviously still time to add on to it. In a game that's almost reached 3.5 hours, it's been a bit of a grueling one with plenty of errors between the two teams, 6 to be exact. Some issues with finding the strike zone. But we're here at the bottom of the 9th. And the Corndogs on the verge of picking up their 15th win of the season. And if they would do this, an interesting point is that they only have 1 loss out of conference. They have beat almost every other team they've played that hasn't been part of the SCBL. 14-7 on the season, 8-6 in conference. That 1 loss coming to the Kingsmen last week. Can improve that record here, and now with a 3-1 count, Manriquez isn't going to go for that. So 2 on, 2 down, and runners on first and second. That'll send up number 31, Ethan McLean, who's made a ton of plays over at first base, some good, some not his fault. But now the game lies in his hands. Still down by 5 as this pitch is hammered up, and it is going towards Nathan Sammy at second, and the play is made by Sammy. That will end this one here with the Corndogs picking up a 10-5 victory over the out-of-conference Porcupines. Queen City heads to Pineville to pick up their 15th win of the year before a back-to-back away game set over the weekend, which starts tomorrow when the Corndogs travel to face the Copperheads at Lake Norman. That will be a crucial game in the SCBL, and we'll have coverage of it live from Lake Norman. But in the meantime, get some rest, enjoy the victory, and we'll be back with you in a moment. I'm Jonah Weintraub, and thanks for tuning in.